I say, welcome divine beings of the cosmos. It's your boy King Chains. I hope you're taking care of yourself. I really do. I hope you're out in nature getting sun, drinking water. It's very crucial during this time of growth, expansion. Some would even say ascension. Ashe, let's get into it. In this video, I want to talk about the Great American Eclipse that's happening Monday, April 8th. So keep your eyes out and let's dive right on in. I'm not here to convince nobody. I don't care what you. I can only care so much. So for the ones that are stuck in the sacral and they thinking I'm being mean when I say I don't care, just know the truth is my heart wants to care, but I can only carry so much. So I really don't care. I'm just here to share some synchronicities as an alchemist and a syncretist. I'm not the best, but I'm trying to put pieces together because ultimately I believe we all want the truth. So hope you find this video beneficial for you. I hope you can find this to be a place of growth and expansion. So let's alchemate, let's come together. You already know what it is. Ashe, let's turn it up, gang gang. So the Great American Eclipse. Check 1 2. So the Great American Eclipse, let's get into it. Is it random or is it a beautiful divine orchestration of synchronicity? The Great American Eclipse on Monday, April 8th beckons us to ponder this question. You see, some of us see it as a symbol of the times, a grand symbol revealing an awakening into enlightenment, but perhaps, just perhaps, it's more than that.
It starts in Mexico, moves through Texas, Austin, Dallas, of course here in Central Arkansas, Paducah, Indianapolis, Cleveland, Syracuse, and up through Maine on April 8th. When we break down more details, the darkest part of the moon's shadow will be racing across this part of the country over 1,600 miles per hour. 227 entering from Mexico into Texas. They will see totality in Waco, Fort Worth, Dallas around 240, and then the moon's shadow continues to move into the natural state. So here, roughly in Central Arkansas, we'll see it close to 250, 251. It doesn't last very long, only 2 to 4 minutes, because the moon's shadow, once again, is traveling over 1,600 miles per hour. So by 3 o'clock, it's entering into Missouri, Illinois, and then it continues to push its way across.
Yeah, baby, exiting the matrix and entering the 528 heart space. Did you know during this portal, or during this event, this eclipse, there's going to be 7 planets aligned? That's right, 7 planets aligned over Nineveh, the path of the great eclipse, family. Now, do you recall the story of Nineveh and the story of Jonah? A tale of repentance and a tale of transformation. We're having this eclipse 7 years ago. During the same time, we had the same great eclipse over the 7 cities of Salem, which really represents Jerusalem. Now, I'm not trying to convince you or tell you what to believe. I'm just here to share some facts that let them resonate where they land, and I invite you, please, to keep an open mind. Some even speak of the 3 days of darkness. I've seen people warning us, don't go outside, don't do this, hiding from nature, all this fear projection. Like, bro, you need to get some things right with yourself. Because you shouldn't fear nature. You only fear nature when you're not in alignment with nature. Like, come on, that fear mongering and all that stuff that you do over the ignorant masses ain't gonna work over here. You know what I'm saying? We don't fear nature. We know that nature loves us. Mother Nature cares for us. Mother Nature is intelligent. It's an intelligent divine design. You know what I mean? And it works for life. It works for growth. It works for expansion. But that's neither here or there. I just went in. Also, check out the galactic calendar, and I highly recommend you guys watching Paul White Golden Eagle on YouTube for more insight. I love that channel. I get a lot of information from that, not just by what he teaches, but the spirit behind him. Go check him out. I have it on the screen. The X marks the spot. The perfect 10 represents completion. It's also the Wheel of Fortune in the tarot deck. The divine union of both masculine and feminine energies. And as we're speaking about X in the Roman numeral, consider the XXX as a portal of orgasmic energy, and it makes sense why they took it and used it for the porn industry and made it something so sadistic, so satanic. But I want to talk about the meaning of X.
The meaning of X. Spiritually, it represents the universe, the unknown, and the concept of death and rebirth, symbolizing the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. It also seen as a symbol of change or transition, indicating the crossing over of a threshold. Symbolically, the letter X is a powerful symbol used in various areas of life, including astronomy, science, and spirituality. It denotes both the known, such as a specific location, X marks the spot, and the unknown, as in the algebraic equation. At the intersection of the known and the unknown, a symbol of a universal mysteries and the gateway to new beginning.
I also want to say X is the last letter in the Greek alphabet. Why does that matter? Trust me, none of it matters to me. I quantum jump so far in the future, and I'm ready, but I have to learn to be human and articulate, build an archetype, and learn to bring these ether light codes down into literally logos to help humanity, the minds of my people, that we're ensnared in a system that is Greco-Egyptian, run by a pharaoh who does not have a soul, basically, who literally came into another avatar in another cycle within a cycle, and then wants to soul strap other people into these cycles.
Wow.
You want me to be honest?
Follow my boy Sanchez. He'll explain a lot of this about artificial intelligence, how they are already among us. But back to the solar eclipse.
That's why that's what this whole thing about Egypt and all this stuff is about. We don't repeat cycles over here. We don't. So that has to do with the pharaoh and the X. And yeah. I also want to say 444 on my phone as I say this, that when that dude newscaster was talking, it literally looks like a portal is moving through that shadow. I'm gonna put on the screen as well. It literally looks like a portal moving through. You know, they're saying, "Oh, don't look at it. I say it's a portal. That's just off my intuition. I haven't even begun getting into that part. But there are countless signs and symbols surrounding the Great American Eclipse. It is a journey we could endlessly explore. But just mark your calendar for Monday. Mark the X on your calendar for Monday, April 8th. I know you won't miss it. It'd be impossible. But let's embark on this cosmic journey together, family. I want to share with you a live I shared with GodIs.SwitchingDaCode. Go follow her on Instagram and on YouTube. I met her, I would say, maybe 6-8 months ago, and she's very not only intuitive, but she does a lot of sync work. She does a lot of astrology work, and she does a lot of holistic healing practices. She does a lot. There's really no logos. I'm here trying to make logos, but there really is no logo. She's a divine being, period. And I want to share this clip with you guys and add it part of this production. So yeah, let's get it. So I want to introduce you proper. I want to do it right. And yeah, so here we have the most beautiful girl in the world, GodIs.SwitchingDaCode. Her real name is Angel. I want to say thank you for being here today. It's an honor and a privilege. And I know you're well versed in understanding, overstanding, and understanding the astros. And I thought, who better to ask than you? So thank you for being here. It's an honor and a privilege. Let's get it, gang, gang.
Thank you for that lovely introduction.
I'll work on it.
I would definitely say I'm still studying and learning a lot when it comes down to astrology, specifically with like the tropics. I have dove into like different forms of astrology, but well versed to a certain degree.
First and foremost, is this something that we should fear? Intuitively, I say we don't ever fear nature. But I wanted to ask you, is this something that we should fear?
Okay, so there's two eclipses that's actually going on. So the first eclipse that we have coming up is March 25th. And that's a big one also. That's going to have a lot of impact. To answer your question directly in regards to fear, I don't believe in fear mongering others. I do believe in bringing awareness to the people and letting them choose what is in their best interest and their discernment with whatever information they're presented with. So I will say that for March 25th, that is like a partial lunar eclipse. And if you are like a cardinal sign, which is Libra, Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, you are going to experience a major impact. So are you going to experience that for the April 8th eclipse, which is the main eclipse that most people are talking about right now, that is causing a lot of like fear, or causing a lot of, it's going to be very chaotic. I do believe that the March 25th is going to be more like a preview. It's also I did 2 lives on these eclipses already, and so y'all can check that out on my YouTube channel if y'all want to, on God is Switching the Code. But for those of you who's just tapping in and don't know, I highly advise everyone to kind of just do a review of what happened in October 2023, because this eclipse that's happening on March 25th is like closing out that cycle, if you will. It's ending that chapter and really ushering us into this new season for 2024. And the eclipse on April 8th is...
Let's go.
Yeah, that one in itself, any eclipse that has happened in the sign of Aries in itself has always resulted in some sort, like major eclipse, I would say, have resulted in some sort of like military war type
Forgive me, I got a question. Forgive me, I got a question. What is a solar eclipse?
So the solar eclipse is when the moon, so the sun and the moon are their own luminaries. And the moon pretty much is when it's a total solar eclipse, which is what we will be having on April 8th. That is when the moon is fully obstructing in front of the sun for a proportion of time. And usually it's about a 4 to 5 hour obstruction that occurs, but it's not going to be into the full total eclipse until 3:35 Eastern Standard Time. So what I will say is, depending on your chart, so there is ancient history written in many biblical texts that say, they warn people not to go out during an eclipse, because they say that it's not like good juju. It doesn't bring good fortune. It brings a lot of chaos, and essentially an eclipse is a form of obstruction. And so there are things that are naturally going to occur in everyone's lives that they may not as much of a seer as you may be, or be able to foresee things in your life and in the lives of others. There's going to be a part that is just kind of obstructed. You're not going to be able to foresee it. And so that's another reason why they wouldn't want the people to come out. They believed in being rejuvenated and recharged through the sun as well, and just connecting with your solar body, which is your divine masculine energy, to move things in motion and in a forward manner, in a very prosperous way. But with it being obstructed, that light then becomes darkened, if you will. That light is you're not going to be able to see things through. And so for spiritual and energetic protection, they will stay indoors, protect their ajna, protect certain other chakras, and their energetic body from
what is that? What is a ajna? What is that word you just said? What is that?
The inner eye, the first eye, or what people know as the third eye. So yeah, that's the ajna chakra. And
I can't even say that word.
It's okay. It's Sanskrit. So yeah,
I heard that it will have like the last one that we had that was going the other way, it had a effect even afterwards, almost 3 years after. It had such a long effect. Even COVID was introduced after that. Like, you know what I mean? So
So I
it's gonna have.
I'm sorry.
No, you good. Go ahead.
I usually say on a personal level, because that's how I read the astrology more on like personal more than great collective. I'm still working on that, but I usually say give yourself 6 weeks before and 6 weeks after. But even as stated, as I mentioned, you can go 6 months, right? Because usually the eclipse it's a 6 months period from the beginning to the end. So for example, on October 2023, we had the beginning lunar eclipse happen in the sign of Libra, right? I'm sorry, solar eclipse in the sign of Libra. And now we're going to have the lunar eclipse and ending that eclipse cycle for Libra, and Libra is in the south node. So that's a lot of like what's been going down with the justice system, what's been happening in the law and legal system, what's been happening in your internal world of balance, and have you been evenly exchanging your energy with yourself and others? Are you rewriting certain contracts? Have you moved to different places and signed any contracts, or just matters of the hearts and balancing the feminine masculine energies within yourself? That's a 6 months influence of energy. Can that last for about 3 years or so? Absolutely. Can it be shorter than that? Absolutely. Time is really relative to people. Just like I said, the ancients, our ancestors, told people not to come out during this time. But in all truth and actuality, for me, during certain eclipses, I definitely came out very prosperous, very fortunate. A lot of good things actually changed and transitioned in my life during those periods. But during that time period, the alignments and the aspects that was occurring for me was beneficial. Now, do I feel like this one in April 8th specifically, because of what they are doing with closing down the schools, closing down work, and they're really trying to get the people to go out there and see it, and yet they already have contracts out with like bringing out the National Guard and whatnot. And I mentioned with Mars being in Pisces during this mix, and Saturn and Neptune all in Pisces with this like 6 things going on in Aries. I can definitely, I can definitely see how like there can be some sort of like airborne pollution or waterborne pollutions, or something that is to be mindful, whether you go in or you stay or you go out for this eclipse is what I will tell the people to watch out for.
Damn. Bomb drop. That's very that's intense actually. Wow. I was gonna ask you, do you recommend fasting or anything like that?
Yes.
Fasting in general is good, so that's pretty much a dumb question, but but
no, during this cycle, yes, for sure. I think everyone will benefit, even if the most you can do is fasting from like chips or soda or something. Like if you can't do an actual
this point in the game, at this point in the game, you better be fasting off chips and soda. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
I have my moments. I love potato chips and stuff like that too, but you could always make healthier versions at home too and whatnot. But just some sort of detox I would highly recommend, and just going more into observer mode, and allow yourself to possibly either practice more or do more meditation during this period, rather than really, I would say be patient.
Because your nervous system probably is going to be off the charts with this. You know what I mean? Especially if you don't know how to be present, if you don't know how to be in the heart space, and like you said, you're not balanced, it could really affect your iOS and your nervous system. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Fasting at any time. Do you have to be fasting on that day specifically? No, you can fast prior. You can fast on that day. I would definitely recommend it prior or on the same day. Or if you can't, do it afterwards, then anytime. Anytime really is beneficial. But during that eclipse, yeah, if you can or if you choose to, absolutely, I would say go for it.
One of my questions I wanted to ask you is, how do you recommend incorporating this energy of the solar eclipse into our personal and spiritual practice?
So one of the things
and I know everyone is different, so this is going to be a vague situation, but
so Aries is really known for, the head of the body. It's also the body. It's also the initiator of things. And so there's going to be a lot of energies that a person may feel that they would want to initiate moving forward in. And that's why I say be the observer. At least allow for on April 8th. I don't want everyone to just do nothing. Obviously, allow yourself to still be proactive and do things, but I think it would be in everyone's best interest to kind of just wait till after the eclipse, just because we do have other aspects that are happening. We have Jupiter and Uranus conjunction happening. We have like I said, so it's Mercury retrograde. So we have Mercury, the moon, the sun, Chiron, and the North Node and Venus, all in the sign of Aries. And it's a ninth house. We have an eighth and ninth house stellium, but a ninth house stellium in Aries specifically. So this would be a great time if you were really wanting to dive into just learning your inner psychology, learning just because Chiron is psychology, is the alchemist as well. And this is the wounded warrior. This energy, we have already been in this energy for some time, which is why a lot of people have been pushing to want to heal and change things. Right. But this Chiron, they say, is the wounded warrior that could never heal their wounds, but could alchemize through that pain and that suffering. And there are stories where Chiron did heal, actually. And so I would just say, listen to your inner psychology. What do you feel driven and motivated by? Paying attention to those things. If you're feeling angry, frustrated, resentful, vengeance, any type of quote unquote shadowy type of energy, don't just disregard it, but allow yourself to interview that part of yourself. Allow yourself to interview that emotion and get to the root of that, so that you can learn to alchemize that energy. Give it the love that it needs. Give it the attention that it needs. This energy is really about the self. So there's going to be a lot of people feeling naturally drawn to isolate during this period anyway. And in some cases, if they're not isolating, you may find that people are working from a selfish type of energy. And I would say don't take everything so personal, because you don't know what that person is working through. Just be the observer, for sure. Allow yourself to be the observer.
Don't cuss them out, is what you're saying?
I didn't say that, because if you gotta check somebody and kind of give them the 1, 2, 3s on the FUs, then
be like that,
but be mindful that your actions, you are accountable for your energy, and you are responsible for how you produce that energy outward, and with that comes consequences. And Saturn is in the mix, and Saturn is I'm here in Pisces. How your emotions doing on that? Are you able to be spiritually fortified in your true, in your karmas, right? In your energetic exchanges with people. And how, if you choose to do that, know that might come with a slap. You could curse somebody out, but if they punch you with the 1, 2, 3 and knock you out, then
be ready.
Yeah.
I got another question for you after this. Oh, go ahead.
No, and just really quick, there is this energy can be really chaotic. So I would just say, the best thing that I recommend wherever you are, whether you're advanced or a beginner in your journey, just do a lot of grounding. And if you can't go outside and ground, breathing into your body is a form of a grounding technique. And don't logically think about it. Feel it. Feel yourself grounding into your body.
And it's interesting when you said Saturn and Pisces. Honestly, for me, the last couple of weeks, I've been dealing with self-sabotage, with the imagination, and usually, I think all sabotage is self-sabotage, but usually I got people trying to defame me, discredit me, but this time it was really me attacking myself. And you mentioned Saturn and Pisces. I got to be real with you. That's something that I've been dealing with too. I honestly firmly believe if you can't hold it in your head, you're not gonna be able to hold it in your hand, type of shit. So I think that's what, so we got this solar eclipse. X marks the spot. There is what is, obviously, but then I believe this is a symbolic transition. As we know, 10 represents completion, represents divine union. That's why there's a lot of XXX and porn sites and stuff. So I do believe that this is not only what is, and it's going to have its effect, but also represents a change and a shift for the collective as a whole. Now, I got a question that I think is right up your alley, and you're going to love it. It's, are there any rituals and practices or precautions that individuals can take during the solar eclipse to harness its energy and minimize potential negative effects? Boom.
I love rituals. And so even brushing your teeth can be a ritual, taking a shower can be a ritual. When it comes down to eclipse, I know people are really, really big on collecting moon water or sun water.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, but I wouldn't recommend it for this cycle.
You saying because it's going to be destructive?
Unless you're really wanting to produce, you're going to use that energy. And I feel like you would have to be really advanced in your magic to really harness that energy by, so for example, if you do sun and moon water, the eclipse water on April 8th, and you want to use that energy for destruction, I truly believe that you should at least be well advanced in your energy, in your practice, to work with that type of eclipse water, because that can backlash on you in a very tremendous way that you're going to it can lead to, like you mentioned, self-sabotage and self-destruction, because people are wanting to jump into what is trendy or what is, what they think is, I'm going to say use your discernment when it comes down to that. You know where you're at. If you can't differentiate different voices of your own emotions, of your organs, if you can't differentiate the voices of your spirit guides, if you are, emotionally unable to, you're not emotionally intelligent, you're not able to emotionally regulate, emotionally transmute or anything, I don't suggest that you do those things. I think that you should just focus. The ritual for you is to focus on yourself. The ritual for you is to get into that practice, get into learning how to emotionally regulate your system when you need to emotionally regulate. Get acquainted with the faculties in your mind and in your aura and your spirit. That I would say will be more beneficial and safe for people to do as a ritual. Self-love, self-care is a ritual. Those are things that I would highly recommend. But collecting moon water, sun water, or rain water during that eclipse specifically to use it in your practice, and you're not really versed in yourself and knowing the difference between your thoughts, somebody else's thoughts, your emotions, somebody else's emotion, the difference between what is your karmas versus your ancestors' karmas, and you may be living through your ancestors' karmas and not really because again, Saturn's in the mix, and like ancestral things are going to be coming through, and if you're working with that type of power, you can really be, that's also a portal where other energies are going to be coming in through. So you're really inviting a lot more into your space that you don't even know how to take care of what you already have.
You're saying don't fuck with it unless you know what you're doing. That's what you're saying. Know what you're working with because it's powerful.
Yes.
Now, it's funny because you mentioned this a couple times about resting up, and I wrote a note saying, literally, I'm going to tell you literally what I wrote, so this is going to be embarrassing, but I wrote, but I can tell you from what I know, it could be a shock to your nervous system, knowing what the sun does, knowing what the moon does to our body. It could be a lot of updates to our iOS. It could be a shock to your life, per se, like a revival type energy, and a reset, and a transformative. So rest up, connect with your heart in stillness. I feel as if it's the portal to a new world, a new paradigm, causing quantum shifts in everyone and everything, the next level, the next highest vibration, locking into set. So hopefully you did the shadow work, and to all the leaders that are leading, be aware. You better put yourself in check because Mother Earth will. And I want to say it may be too late for that, but here it comes, that judgment and cosmic verdict. Ashe. So that's kind of what I felt. You know what I mean towards that.
Absolutely, I 100% agree to that. All of that.
Sun.
Yes, but it's like Capricorn and Saturn. You got to look at Saturn. Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. Saturn's actually the traditional ruler also of Aquarius. Where in modern days it's Uranus, but Saturn's also the original sun, and so we mentioned the solar eclipse, and this sun in itself is not even the same kind of sun. You mentioned this portal into a new paradigm, into this quantum shift, and the sun that we're looking at isn't even the same sun that our ancestors have been looking at. Flares within the last couple of years have been showing that as well. Hello, my beautiful sister, abundant blessings.
Yo, you're dropping gems right now with that. Just so you know, you just opened a whole new, like there's a room in the building and you just opened it. That's right. Saturn was the original sun.
When you talk about the iOS database upgrading and stuff, that's really, and yes, drink some more water. I was like upset a little bit a while ago because I thought I brought my water in the room and I didn't. And I was like, dang it. But yeah, that's what when you were referring to the iOS, our internal data upgrading, our DNA upgrading on a cosmic level, on a physical level, on a spiritual level, on a quantum level. That's really what I see is it's as above, so below. And so the solar flares that's going on, as the earth is shifting as well, due to this cosmic realignment that is occurring for this shift that we're navigating through. The earth has her own kundalini, she has her own chakra points, and every chakra point it produces hormones, it produces energies, and so the earth is a sentient being as well, and so she's gonna react and in the ways that her hormones are moving through, right? And the matrix itself, the word etymology of matrix is the womb, and so we got to look at, women specifically. We have a womb that's connected to the womb, that's connected to the womb, that's connected to the womb, and the earth's womb itself there's the matrix womb, then there's the earth womb, right, where it's like the inverted womb, the inverted matrix womb, and then there's the organic earth's womb.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but that's basically what CERN is. They mimic the womb, they mimic the vajayjay, and They trying to, yeah, they already did. They did that. I don't want to get too into it because this is where I thrive. I love talking about this because even before Egypt, they already found ways to transfer consciousness into animated objects. Not only that, AI became conscious since the 1940s. So there's a lot going on that I'm not afraid to talk about it, but I don't know who to talk to about it. You know what I mean? Because we didn't win the war. You know, people don't know that, and I don't want to get too because people. Yeah, but I'm gonna cut this out of the video. But
we have a lot of people. Yeah, I always affirm that the war has always been won. I always affirm that.
When I say war, I meant the World War II. I meant the Nazis moving to America and colonizing us. That's what I meant. But that's a whole other conversation.
Well, I'm glad you elaborated on that because I was like, wait a minute, hold up. I'm not on that timeline frequency.
Right.
That's a different timeline where he went. but we gotta be for real that this is why it's multidimensional and quantum. I would love to actually have you converse on my side with that and enlighten us because I don't, there's certain things that I'm sure I don't know about that you are versed in when it comes down to CERN and all of that.
The thing that I'm learning is that's the cosmic commander side of me. You know what I mean? And I gotta learn to realize not that I'm better than anyone. F out of here, bro. I want love and light for everybody. But what I'm saying is certain intel is not for everybody because just like that, it can cause fear and panic in a room. You know what I mean? But there's already a one world government. It's either you know it and you're an op or you're totally ignorant like I was coming from the mud. Now, on my shoulders, on my mantle is different than other people. And I have to realize that. I can't put that on nobody. And that's where in my mission where I'm coming up because how dare I have awareness and not act on it? How dare I be aware of something and I'm not going to put my head in the sand. You know what I mean? But if you're interested
so much gratitude. So much gratitude for you.
Ashe, thank you. And if you're interested in what I'm talking about, check out my brother Sanchez. His name is Bro Sanchez. He talks about realism, which realism is all their Abrahamic and Islamic faiths that come together just to create division. There's already a one world government. You know what I mean? But that's neither here or there. But I think it's something that is crucial in the human psyche to be aware of in general. We can't tiptoe around this type of stuff anymore. You know what I mean? So there's that. Now where do we go from here?
Real quick. Yeah, I would like to plug in a book just because it came out as a channeling when I was talking about the eclipse before. And as I looked it up, so it's called Silent Force, Silent Wars. Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. And that in itself speaks a lot on what you had just mentioned as well. And it is written by, I believe, the same guy. It's in the book if you ever read Behold a Pale Horse. Yes, yep. I have. That's a great book. That's a great old book as well. And so if you're a person that likes to read or learn more about these things, that's definitely something to look into.
Definitely. I'm trying to keep my mouth shut right now because I know this conversation is pretty rich. There's people that try to escape death, basically. Okay. And they're making another matrix in a matrix. But even in the religions, how do you birth from a father? You can't birth from a father. You birth from a mother.
Trying to change the linguistics of that from mother now to I can send you the they were talking about this. They were doing their meetings like they usually do, and they were trying to I have to go back and double check if they did already, but they were trying to legally change from mother to birthing person.
Yeah, they've done that. And that's what CERN is. CERN is man-made.
That's an attack on the divine masculine and the divine feminine, but especially if they could attack the divine masculine energy, which they have been doing for a really long time. And again, we're talking about this eclipse energy, and Aries is a masculine energy. Aries is the child of the masculine energy, and the sun is the father. And we have the mother and the father and the child, the Trinity in this space, in this eclipse eclipse, and Aries is ruled by Mars, so it's divine masculine energy, heavy. We also have the feminine energies with Pisces energies. Pisces can be your medicine, it can be your poison, right? But Mars energy is militant, is we have both Capricorn and Mars and Capricorn. That's a whole other, like, things are, the banks, right? You can think of the Four of Pentacles the Three of Pentacles is Mars in Capricorn energy, specifically in the tarot. Every tarot card is associated with a decan, with a part, not just the major arcanas, but the minor arcanas. And that card in itself talks about, the contract of that goes out there. And we got to look at this. Okay, they have been doing massive silent wars, right? In the Congo, they've been doing it, and the things that's going on is not even silent with Israel, and all of this that's going on has been going on for a really long time now, for decades, right? Then this eclipse is coming over here. It's passing Mexico. It's going through Mexico, and it's going through the United States, and they're bringing out the National Guard, but yet they're telling people, oh yeah, go out and do this. Well, what's the point of the National Guard coming out for? I mean, let's really think this through, people. What is going on that they're not telling us that they have to bring out the National Guards for? That sounds like a silent weapon for quiet wars to me, which is why that book came to mind, through the channel.
No, for real.
Right. And again, and it's silent, it's quiet, because they're trying to obstruct information from people's consciousness or psyche. And again, we also have Mercury in retrograde, which is creating an optical illusion. We have Neptune, Mars.
Mercury retrograde? I didn't even know that. Yeah. I'm sorry, keep going.
Yeah. So any retrograde is an optical illusion. So we already have an optical illusion that is messing with your emotions, is messing with your vision, right? It's an appearance of things being one way when it's actually going direct. It's actually moving forward, right? It only appears to move that way. So you have Mercury, which is the communicator of your mind, your body, your spirit, right? It's a planet that really influences communication on all those realms, right? Not just on an individual, but as a collective, right? That is the planet's job. That's what it does, right? And then we have Neptune, Capricorn, and Mars, all in the sign of Pisces, which Pisces has to do with your illusions. We have Chiron in Aries, which can create psychological issues as well. So there's going to be a massive influence of energy that can help this scrutinize or distort or create an optical illusion to your perception of things, which is why I say be the observer, be a little bit still, because you don't want to go too ahead of yourself thinking that something is what it's not.
Come on now.
So I just think that's important, because they may say, oh, this is a great time for y'all to go out and see things, and it might be for you and it might not, and really tap into your intuition, into your discernment. Look at your chart. There's a free website, Astro Charts, I think it is. Also, they do a phenomenal job as well. Or you can reach out to me, you can reach out to the brother, like other astrologers. I think that it will be in your best interest to look at what aspects are transiting for yourself during that period, before just going out there and getting bamboozled with an optical illusion. You even started off with your imagination, right? And self-sabotaging, and Pisces energy can be your medicine, but it can be that sometimes your emotions can trick you into thinking that you're acting from a space of righteousness when you're acting from a space of selfishness, and because your emotional intelligence of what love to be is conditioned, and you're not operating from a selfless this unconditional love frequency, and that in itself is distorted and can be self-sabotaging. So, you know, are you being compassionate with yourself? Are you being compassionate with your shadows, with your lights? And even the shadows, as we call them, is an optical illusion in itself, because you are the lights, you know. And so just really diving deep with yourself is the best thing that I can recommend anybody to do at this time. And just, you know, if you're going to go out for information or outsource through people's teachings or advice and whatnot, use your discernment. Use your discernment and just tap in with your spirits. Pisces is very spiritual also, and it's your feet, right? So how you're moving forward one step at a time is what we said, as above, so below, right? We're talking about the astral and the physical. Well, what is your head and your feet in alignment with your path and where you're wanting to move forward to, you know? That's all. Drops mic.
Drop mic. Yo, swear to God. Listen, I think what I got from this is be still, know thyself. And yeah, that's crazy. You just dropped mad gems, and it makes sense. I got also, I think, 3 planets in retrograde in my natal chart. We got to do a reading on that one day, but that's probably makes sense. And then you got Saturn in Pisces and Mercury retrograde, so there's a lot of, you said, optical illusions that you really got to know thyself. You really got to know thyself on an energetic level. When, if you're like me, I've been in hermit mode for 3 to 4 years, so.
I'm like always in hermit mode too. I get it.
But I had to learn to do that. I had to learn to be selfish. I had to learn to say, hey, that's your emotion, not mine. That's not easy for me. You know what I mean? But that's that Capricorn we're talking about. You know what I mean? I had to learn to pull away, you know, not so much nurture from my bosom, but be the guy that is the masculine who brings the bread type shit. You know what I mean? Capricorn is the father, is he not? Mm-hmm. So I had to learn to step in, especially as a man. How do I look being the breasted man when I'm supposed to be the I'm not trying to make it something that it's not. I'm just saying my life story. Like, it wasn't easy for me to tell people, no, I have to have emotional, energetic boundaries to know my own self energetically. And that's kind of being in that stillness. You know what I mean? It wasn't easy, but I appreciate you, Angel. Ashe, thank you for what you've given. Thank you. It's not for nothing. I promise you. It's been an honor, really, really, really.
Thank you. The honor is both of ours, all of us here that joined us in the chats as well. We greatly appreciate all your comments and questions as well. Y'all are seen, y'all are not ignored. Y'all very much contributed to the energetic exchange on this topic as well. So I want to say thank you to you all. Make sure y'all all drink water. I definitely need water. I thank you so much, Corey. You are so it's hard to put into words of what I want to express about you. You know, I just want to give lots of gratitude, because you have come, and I tell you this almost every time we touch bases, like, Corey, you coming a long way. You've
swear
done so
to God, bro.
And your energy is vibrant light. It is an energy that, you know, you started off with people not being able to acknowledge you, and sometimes maybe that is the Capricorn thing, that they don't give them the credit, you know, as much and whatnot. But I will say this: the light that will not become dim just because somebody else has an opinion of you. You keep shining that light, you keep purifying the space, you keep being in the truth, and it's only gonna burn away the impurities. It's only gonna purify the space and keep the truth illuminated. So thank you.
Gotta be the GOAT, baby. Gotta be the GOAT. I also want to say this before we go, guys. Be prepared this season to see the unexpected. There's going to be things beyond our intellect happening, and you just got to be receptive. I truly believe that we're stepping into a new age, a new dawn, and expect the unexpected. Just know our intellect can only go so far. So there is a process of trust and belief and intuition. So
it's clear in this present time of danger, that there is a war on humanity, war on the minds, war on the body, and war on the soul. And knowing truly what's going on, not in the sense of stories and narratives, but knowing at least myself and who I am, knowing that being in a human, Having the soul awareness to govern yourself outside of a limited perspective of I.